Hi, my name is Eason Lewis, and today I'll be going over Chapter 16, which is the Law and Business Associations, Part 1. At the beginning of this chapter, it describes what sole proprietorships are and the advantages and disadvantages of them. The advantages of sole proprietorships is that it eases in information. The total control belongs to one individual and is subject to less government regulations at all levels. The disadvantages is that personal liability for both personal and business assets. The individual pays all taxes on profits made by the business. Ownership cannot be transferred, and the individual may lack sophistication to make the next step and take the business to the next level. The chapter continues to describe what creating a partnership is and the process of it. It introduces the Revised Uniform Partnership Act, which is known as RUPA, and this is applicable in the absence of a written partnership agreement. It determines the existence of a partnership based on the presence of the following factors: sharing of profits and losses, joint ownership of the business, and equal opportunity to participate in the management of the business. Next is the items that are included in a partnership agreements. These are requirements that are needed. And it starts with the name and address of the partnership, the name and address of partners, the purpose of the partnership, the duration of the partnership, amount and type of investment of each partner, the loans to partnership, how profits and losses are to be shared, management and voting power of each partner, the method of setting disputes that should arise, cross insurance of partners, duties of each partners, how books are to be set up and maintained, banking agreements, who has authority to deposit and withdraw, who has the authority to borrow in the name of the partnership, and lastly, who does the hiring and firing of employees. Next is the relationship amongst partners, and these are described in various duties that go along with them. And the first duty is the fiduciary duties. I may butcher that, but this is to include duty of loyalty, good faith, fairness, duty to not appropriate partnership opportunities, not to compete in some instances, not to have conflicts of interest, and not to reveal confidential information of the partnership. Next is the duty of obedience, and this is the duty to act in accord with the partnership agreement. The duty of care is the duty to manage the affairs of the partnership without gross negligence, recklessness, or intentional misconduct. And then next is the rights amongst partners. And this is partnership property, and this is basically the right to possess and use for partnership purposes. Next is the transferability of interest in partnership's property, and this is the right to share profits and losses of the partnership. Next is the management of properties, and this is partners have equal rights unless otherwise agreed on pursuant to partnership agreement. And then lastly, the information, and this is each partner has a right to information necessary to carry out rights of the partnership. Next, the chapter describes the situations that terminate a partnership. And this is a resignation of a partner, mergers with other businesses, bankruptcy, and lastly, expiration of partnership agreement. And then this chapter goes on to dissolution and winding up. Dissolution prevents any new businesses from taking place with the intention of termination proceedings. Winding up is completing all unfinished transactions, paying off outstanding debts, distributing assets, and dividing remaining profits. The advantages and disadvantages of partnership can be described as the advantages being easily forming a contract in between two persons, costs are relatively small, tax is usually not levied on the partnership itself, can operate in almost all states, and is subject to less state and local regulations, allows for a wide variety of profit sharing and operational agreements. And the disadvantages is that it does not have perpetual existence. Each partner has limitations, liability in the most instances. Partners are taxed on their share of partnership profit, and property of individual partners may become partnership property if the instrument transferring an individual's partner property makes reference to the partnership. And then next, the chapter describes the limited partnerships, and this consists of one general partner who's responsible for managing the business, one or more limited partners who invest in the partnership but does not participate in its management, And liability is limited to the amount of capital contribution. And then lastly, they govern by the Reverse Uniform Limited Partnership Act, which is also known as the RULPA. And then next is the limited liability limited partnership, known as the LLLP. And this is liability is the same for the general partner as for a limited partner. In 2001, the revision of the RULPA is a limited partner cannot be held liable for partnership debts, even if he or she participates in the management and controls of a limited partnership. And then lastly for the chapter is the internet franchising. And this is from the franchisor's perspective, is exclusive tutorial clause granted to the franchisee is lost if the franchisee can market goods from its website. The franchisee's perspective is that websites are cheap and convenient method of marketing. So again, that's all I have for chapter 16. This is the first part of law and business associations. So I'm glad to learn more about part 2. Thanks.